I need one more term to finish the agenda.
Senator Ed Markey has served on Capitol Hill for 5 decades, and he's on a mission to finish strong. But his challengers say, not so fast.
They all suck. You need someone like me.
I'm putting forward new ideas, a new vision.
Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton and Republican John Deaton both want his job. The time is running out to win over the voters.
I fight for a progressive vision for what our country needs.
This morning, Senator Markey goes on the record about the future of the Senate, his party, and his seat.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Beacon Hill to Capitol Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
And good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, July 12th. Ed's off. I'm Ben Cimino.
And I'm Charmin Sacchetti, and joining us at the table, Massachusetts U.S. Senator Ed Markey. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be with you again.
Good to see you.
All right, let's start with your reelection bid and the Democratic primary. Congressman Seth Moulton, he has made your age a major factor in this race. You'd be 86 at the end of your next term. And last week after the debate, you told us if you win, this would be the last term you decide to serve. Are you acknowledging that your age is a problem?
Well, this is the most energized I have ever been. My father drove a truck for the Hood Milk Company, and I am the beneficiary of all those programs that were put in place to give opportunities to young people in preceding generations. Those programs are under assault. So this is a fight that we need to win. And so I'm going to fight and win this election and then go to the Senate next year and restore the funding for Medicaid, restore the funding for the Affordable Care Act, restore the educational funding, restore the funding for wind and solar, all electric vehicles. There's a fight that must be waged and won for the people of Massachusetts and across our country. And this is the most energized I have ever been.
And why commit?
To be.
Why commit to leaving at the end of your next term?
Well, because this is a job that I want to complete. This is work that needs to be completed, to put those programs back in place, to ensure that there's a strong floor and an unlimited ceiling for every single child in our country, and I am committed to finishing that job.
So do you think your age is an issue or no?
Look at in this race. It's not your age; it's the age of your ideas, which is important. And I'm the youngest guy in this race. Congressman Moulton invests in defense companies or divergent companies that appear before his committee, and he was invited in by private equity companies into sweetheart investments that is enriching his family, himself, and simultaneously he voted for bloated defense budgets. So that should be illegal.
Let's talk about Congressman Moulton.
He should have to divest that. That's the worst of old Washington, and that era must end, and that's what Congressman Moulton represents.
So a UNH poll in June shows it's become a tight primary race. Congressman Seth Moulton has managed to narrow the gap, according to this poll, to about 6 points. Back in April, the number was 13. Why do you think he's able to close that gap?
Well, I don't ride the roller coaster. I just run on the issues, and I let the people decide. But the issues that I'm running on, those are going to be the decisive issues. I support Medicare for all. Congressman Moulton opposes it. That's why Bernie Sanders is with me. I supported the millionaire's tax here in Massachusetts to raise billions of dollars for kids to get a higher quality of education in Massachusetts. Congressman Moulton, he opposed that millionaire's tax. That's why Senator Warren is with me. Congressman Moulton, he threw transgender kids under the bus after the 2024 election. I am the author of the Transgender Bill of Rights. And Congressman Moulton, he voted for a $1 trillion defense budget for Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump just 7 months ago, which he is using to conduct the war in Iran and in Venezuela.
So why do you think he's closing in, though?
So that's a fundamental difference in terms of a progressive vision for Massachusetts. I represent the future and what we are going to need to do to completely and totally overhaul the political system in our country. And Congressman Moulton just represents represents the worst of the past.
Let's talk about your endorsements. In the last race against former Congressman Joe Kennedy in 2020, New York Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came out to campaign for you. Have you asked her to come back and take part in this campaign?
Well, I'm not going to give you a complete preview of coming attractions in my campaign, but I will tell you, Bernie Sanders is endorsing me. Ayanna Pressley is endorsing me. Elizabeth Warren is endorsing me. The Sunrise Movement that was at the heart of the Green New Deal movement, they are endorsing me. And we'll be rolling out all of the endorsements in the course of the final 6 weeks of this campaign. But ultimately, the progressive movement is with me. And that is going to be, I think, the defining aspect of this campaign, because people are going to be looking in Massachusetts, especially in the Democratic primary, to a vision of a progressive future. And I am going to have all of those groups at my back. Planned Parenthood has endorsed me. The Human Rights Campaign has endorsed me. The League of Conservation Voters have endorsed me. All of those groups that are at the cutting edge of the progressive movement all have my back.
All right. I was at your debate last week with Congressman Moulton. Congressman Moulton repeated several times, it's time for the Democrats to have a new playbook. He said establishment Democrats have delivered 2 terms of President Trump and a House and a Senate controlled by Republicans. Do you think the Democratic Party can win the Senate in its current state?
Well, first of all, Congressman Moulton is the establishment. He's been in Congress for 12 years. It's almost as though he is pretending that he was not part of that establishment. But apart from that, this is a point in American history when we have to look at the failures of our healthcare system. We have to look at the threats of climate change and what it poses to the next generation of Americans. And on those issues, I am the leader in the United States Senate. I will be the chair of the Health Subcommittee for the United States Senate in January. That's why we have to restore the Medicaid cuts, the Affordable Care Act cuts, double the NIH budget to find the cures for Alzheimer's and for Parkinson's and for heart disease and all the other diseases in our families.
Do you think Democrats,
that is the vision of the future.
Let me ask you, though, but whether or not the Democratic Party can win the Senate, do you think they deserve to?
We are running this year, I am running this year, on a progressive vision for the future. That is what the voters of Massachusetts want, and that is the message which has been spreading across the country. So in state after state, the agenda that Democrats are running on is an agenda of taxing billionaires and millionaires, reclaiming that money for education, for healthcare, for environmental justice, for civil rights protections. That's the agenda that we should be running on, and we are running on, and it's going to, I think, lead to a blue wave, a landslide that we're going to see this year.
So should that happen and Democrats recapture the majority, is Chuck Schumer the right man to be majority leader? Would he have your vote?
I think everything has to be on the table. After this election.
You'd be open to a new leader?
I would be open to new leadership. I would be open to new issues that have to be put at the forefront, and that has to be on the table. But until then, we have to get rid of Donald Trump. We have to win the House and Senate. That is what I am going to be focusing on.
On the Senate front, it may have gotten harder in the last week for Democrats to recapture the Senate. Former Maine U.S. Senate candidate Graham Platner has now suspended his campaign. You withdrew your endorsement. You had endorsed him. You withdrew that endorsement after the sexual assault allegation surfaced. Are you confident that Democrats can still win that seat, and will you endorse someone in that race?
The accusations against Graham Platner were horrific.
They've been building for weeks and weeks now.
And he should have stepped down. But the issues that he was running on, that's what's going to animate that Senate race in Maine and races all across the country. I'm going to wait to see who the Maine Democratic Party selects. It's up to them. But I'm very confident that they are going to select someone who will, in fact, reflect those concerns which had built a movement up in Maine. And it's around affordability. It's the price of healthcare. It's the price of food. It's the price of gasoline. It's the price of housing. All of those issues are still animating the election in Maine and all across our country. And the Republicans have absolutely nothing to bring to the table. And I think that notwithstanding his withdrawal, whoever gets that nomination, and I will endorse the candidate that they select as
You
the
will-
nominee.
you will endorse.
But it will be around the issues that then the campaign is run,
Isn't
and that candidate, whoever it may be, will have an excellent chance to win.
I have to ask this. Isn't it a bit of deja vu for Democrats? We saw what happened with President Biden in 2024. He left the race. The Democrats put up Kamala Harris. She, of course, lost to President Trump. Why should voters trust that Democrats are putting forward candidates who can win?
Well, the voters will have a chance for 4 months.
And that have been vetted.
The voters will have a chance to, for 4 months, be able to see who that candidate is. And it's most likely they'll already know who that candidate is and already have a relationship with them up there. But again, it's the issues that people care about. There is an affordability crisis in our country. Those kitchen table issues that I saw my father, the truck driver, and my mother struggle with every single day. How do you pay for electricity? How do you pay for gasoline? How do you pay for food, housing, the mortgage, everything? That's what's driving this election this year. And Trump is not supporting a housing bill, cutting health care, cutting educational opportunities, and giving a blank check to the oil, gas, and coal industry to dramatically increase the cost of energy for people's families. That is what is going to win these elections.
Quickly, though, Susan Collins has survived before when she was counted out, but you think it's different because of the Roe decision and her vote for those Supreme Court justices?
Yeah, you can feel up in Maine that people know that Donald Trump cannot survive a Democratic House and Senate in terms of the investigations of this all-you-can-eat buffet of corruption, which he has been consuming, which his children have been consuming, his cronies and his corporations. And the voters of Maine know that it will be imperative to win that seat so that we control, as Democrats, the House and the Senate, and we have the subpoena power. We have the ability to call those hearings and bring in this entire corrupt gang of cronies that he has enriched, including himself, by the way, to a dramatic extent. And I think at the end of the day, when we win, it's going to set the table for the 2028 election to have a Democratic nominee win the presidency.
More to come. Our conversation continues after the break.